Hello, happy Tuesday. Yes, it is Tuesday today. I have to like every morning we do this. I have to remind myself what day of the week it is. It's like, um, yeah, okay. It is Tuesday. We are in October, which is um, yeah, which is kind of like incredible to me that as we started the stream back in July, so we're almost at the 3 months mark, which is really, really exciting. Hello to Alice in the chat. Thank you for joining this morning. And Ben Oldenburg, I feel like your handle is very familiar. I don't know if you used to join my Twitch like years ago, or maybe I'm just streaming things, but welcome to the chat. So I'm just trying to remember what I've done since yesterday's stream. So we had a stream yesterday, a very impromptu stream, because I was very much inspired by the stream that Ian and EJ did, which actually, let me drop their Twitch channel for you. And they were, on Sunday night, they were streaming election data and also visualizing election data. And then yesterday they were streaming a COVID-19 data set. But on Sunday, I watched it and then I got really excited about kind of the database that they were making. So then yesterday I did a very impromptu stream, taking advantage of the SQLite database they stood up. And so in a little bit, I'll show the progress from yesterday. But before that, I want to say hello to Computational Mama. Thank you for joining today. I have to admit, so we didn't, this is a tangent, but over the weekend, we didn't have a chance to do grocery shopping. So usually we have like toast in the morning, but because we didn't do grocery shopping, we don't have any toast or bread. It's kind of like a sad situation. And I had I had like a small snack packet of ramen for breakfast, which is like super, I mean, like anything that's like instant ramen is like really high in sodium. So I'm not feeling the best right now. But I knew that I had to have some sort of food or else I wouldn't last the stream. But now I'm like semi regretting it because it's a lot of sodium. So if I seem slower than usual this morning, because not only is it morning, but also I guess I intook a lot of sodium. Yeah, that would be why. But yeah, and then another update is that I am looking for a domain expert. Any domain experts in terms of voter registration, voter participation, voter suppression in the U.S. election. Be really grateful if you are one, or if you know someone that you can refer, I'd be really grateful. I'm like desperately trying to find someone just to make sure that like all of the analysis I'm doing, the exploration I'm doing is like that it actually is valid and makes sense. Yeah, hopefully someone that can like start right away. And then it's of course a paid opportunity. So I'll also drop both the tweet and the kind of Google form with much more information in the chat. So if you do know anyone, I'd be really grateful if you could kind of forward this to them. Because in the meanwhile, I'll just be going about this, trying to use as much common sense as I can, as much common sense and research as I can. But it's really nice to be able to like confirm with like a domain expert whether like I'm going down the right path or like if it's like a complete red herring. So yeah, I think that's my updates from yesterday to today. I'd love to hear if there's anyone joining us, or I know there's people joining us, sorry. um, but I'd love to hear like what you've been up to, what you've been up to over the weekend, or how you're feeling this October. I'm pretty excited. I love fall season. So in general, I love like October. I don't think maybe this is sacrilege, but I don't actually care that much for Halloween. But I love kind of like the mood that sets with like all of the pumpkin patches and like I love the like change in colors, which we don't really get in the Bay, which is kind of sad. But yeah, I love the feeling of like getting cozy. So very excited that it's October. But also kind of already tired with the um with the amount that I've been hustling on this project. I'm just like I already just want to kind of like sleep. But there is the rest of October left, so I'm gonna have to work hard. Yeah. Oh, and if you are in the US, please make sure to register to vote or to make sure you've already registered to vote. Or check your registration because as we're going to see in these streams, um, there's a lot of ways that our registrations can be removed apparently. So that's what we'll be exploring. So I guess we should just kind of dive straight in to, yeah, let's just dive straight into the data for today. Okay, so yesterday we went and got, not this one. So EJ had put together this SQLite database, and yesterday what we went and did was load it in the presidential election. So basically the results for them from, well, so this one has 2000 to 2016, but I wanted 2012 and 2016. So then we went and loaded that data in. And actually what I did was I had loaded it into this notebook so that I can work on it directly in my analysis. But then I realized that it'd be easier if I just centralized all of the project data. So I pulled it into this separate project data file. And then the other little change that I did was I kind of changed the data format around a little bit so that the elections data, actually let me make this bigger, so that the elections data would have the exact same format as my Eves data. So this is what the Eves data looks like. And the Eves data kind of gives a really great kind of like a voter registration sort of data. Yeah, I still haven't, it's like election something voting survey. So election access, I still haven't memorized like what it stands for. Election administration and voting survey. I should remember that. Okay, so then after that, what I did was I basically went and colored each of these counties by the party that won the previous election. So this is the percent of voters that got removed because of a category called failure to respond, and colored by the party that the county, or yeah, the party that won the county in the previous election. So my first reaction was like, oh my God, there's so much red. And then I realized that like in the US, like most counties are red because most counties are like pretty rural. And then like the blue votes are very much like concentrated in the cities. So then like there's just less counties. But actually it's still very interesting to see, for example, like I like in previous elections I didn't like pay extreme amounts of attention to them to like know which states are like leans which way, but still kind of surprised to know things like Rhode Island is almost all blue, and then there's one is Vermont. But yeah, I think it's interesting because my theory was that like there's something kind of suspect if uh, almost all of the voters were removed because of this failure to respond category. Because so as opposed to other categories like they moved or they passed away, so then I was like, oh, I wonder if there's any correlation between like how high a percentage versus like the party leaning. And then that's why I was like, wow, it's like quite red, like all across. And then I was like, oh wait, no, that's just because of how counties are made up. And then I was like, oh, like if I'm interested in correlation, I should just look at a scatter plot. And then I was like, oh, there's no actual correlation. I was like, let me make this smaller. Yeah, there's like no clear correlation of one way or the other. It's like just a like fired mob. So today what I wanted to do is I wanted to bring in demographic data, like mainly around age, gender, race, and income, and then see if there's any correlation to any of those. So for demographic data, I have, so Ian has this notebook with the census demographics. Actually, yeah. So the one in question, the one that I want to grab, the data set I want to grab is somewhere in here. Where? Actually, I guess I can grab it like this. Oh no, actually, I think I can grab this one. Yeah, so I'm gonna grab this one and then I'm gonna reformat it to the format that I have both my eaves and election data. So I'm gonna do this work in this data. Oh, thank you. My husband just brought over some Asian pear because he heard me complaining about all the sodium in the ramen. Thank you. Suddenly it's a mukbang again. So actually, you know what? While I eat that, I might as well just code instead of talk. So I'm gonna bring in the demographics data, and then I'm going to just convert them to the same format as the other data sets. Yeah, that was really nice of Alex. Came out to the kitchen as soon as he heard me complaining about the sodium levels. And I was wondering what he was doing. Hello, Nearless. Good morning. It is also it's an early morning for you again today. It's like 6 or 7 a.m. Is it elections again, or you just wake up really early? Also, I'm like really curious as to like how much my mic picks up my chewing. Like, is it really loud? I've been curious about that. You this have strange sleep pattern. Mike's good. I don't know if that means that like it still picks up the sound or not. But oh, and also the like actually the tooth like the pick that he gave me to like eat the pears with is actually like something we got from a white elephant, and it's like actually a pick for like a cocktail. And it has a goose on it because the white elephant was like a like that we ended up with that we like didn't really want. The bottom of Grey Goose and like some nice like cocktail making things. No, actually I don't think it actually had any cocktail making things. It was just like a these like pigs with geese on them, and we gave the Grey Goose to someone else because we just don't really drink vodka, and then we just kept these pigs, and then we don't even make cocktails with them. We just use it for like a toothpick. I'm glad that at least this one has like the FIPS code nicely formatted. Yesterday's like stream, the struggle was getting nicely formatted FIPS codes. And actually that was a bug I ended up fixing over here, because what we ended up with at the end of the stream, a lot of them weren't colored correctly, or weren't colored at all, because of the fact that there was a mismatch between, or I had formatted the FIPS code incorrectly in one data set, and then they like weren't matching up. So I'm glad today that the FIPS code, this is the FIPS code where you can use it to identify counties and states, I think, is formatted correctly. And actually, I haven't really worked with maps all that often, so I don't know if I can. I'm like treating them like as if they're. Let's see. I'm treating them like as if they are objects, but I don't think I can do that. Can I do that? I don't feel like I can do that. Demographics data. So, I wonder why. How do I loop through map objects? JavaScript, iterate, map object. So I have to do for each dot entries. Do I just do dot entries? So it seems like the thing I like using, which is Lodash, doesn't seem to iterate through a map very well. So it might mean, let me try and see if I can use a native JavaScript map. So that I cannot do either. So is it really doing a for each? I wanted to return. See, this is why I should go and learn new things. I don't ever use maps. I also don't even know why, like what the advantage of a map is in JavaScript. Dot set. Ooh. Okay. For of. Oh. Okay. I feel like this is not what I'm supposed to do, but I'm just going to do map.entries and then iterate over it with Lodash. I wonder. Yeah, I feel like that's definitely not what I'm supposed to be doing. I need to follow up with Ian later about what the advantage of a map is. Okay, that's not. It seems like that's not. Okay, what does .entries do? A map iterator. Okay. Alright, I'm gonna do this. Wait. Like, what? Alright, fine. I'll do a for loop. hi, Alexis Nostromo. Basically, because it is an iterable, you can do for of. But if I do for of, so hi, Ian. Thanks for joining this morning too. Ian says you can do array.from map. You can also create an array from it. So I guess what I'm trying to understand is like the advantage of making it a map object, like a JavaScript map, as opposed to having it in an array. Like, is there something to do with like how it's stored in memory, or like what, like, does it make it more efficient? And then is it kind of like an anti-pattern to try and iterate through it, like to create, like to convert it back into an array and like iterate through it? I'm just trying to understand, because I know that like maps and sets have like appeared years ago in JavaScript, and I never tried to learn it. And the reason why I don't want to use for of is because I wanted it to like return an array for me. And it makes it easier to look up things instead of using .find. That makes a lot of sense. But then for what I'm trying to do, which is like return an array of counties, is the like best way forward, or the only way forward, to, it's not bad to use an array, but you can now pass a map to D3 selections too. Ooh, that's great to know. Yeah, I feel like there's definitely, because I know that sets are nice because you can guarantee like uniqueness, which actually means that I should really study up on both of these things, because there's so many times when I am trying to like unique something, or like trying to make sure that my array is unique, and what I used to do was I would create an object, and then like I would well, actually, I guess it's still, no, I feel like I can definitely make my process easier if I just use a map and a set. Lexus Nostromo says you have handy methods like has and get. Ooh, yeah, I should really study up on this, because I feel like my like data processing things would get a lot easier if I study up on map and set. Ian says, I processed into maps because I figure we'd be looking up a county's demographics. That makes a lot of sense. And actually, that's really helpful to know. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to convert it back into an array to iterate through them, but then I'm definitely going to use the .get to like find the other years, the county from the other years. Yes. And actually, I should just look at, because this is very similar to what I did with the eaves data. So I really should just copy this one over. And then, yeah, so basically this is very similar to what I'm trying to do. So, oh no. Oh, Ian, I brought the eaves data. So this, I made this new observable notebook, this all project data notebook, and then I brought out the cache like eaves file into this one, so that like, and then my exploration notebook also references this one, because, and then I think that way things have been much more performant, because and also it's just been nicer for me to have this one notebook with all of the data, instead of putting it into the eaves data set, because this one that like tries to load in essentially like 90 megabytes worth of data is understandably very slow. So, oh, this is really great information. Julian says D3's group and rollup now also create maps. It helped me understand maps a bit more. Yeah, if you have like any like good resources for, actually, I don't know why I went all the way to the top. If you have great resources for understanding uh, maps, um, and like, actually, I think this has already been really helpful to have this conversation, because I think the reason why I didn't try to study them is because I have a whole like, I don't want to put like time into something when I don't know what the benefit of it is. So then like just having this conversation of like what the benefit of maps and sets are have been really useful, because then now I'm like, oh, like this is something that I should put my time into learning. Um, so I guess like to follow up on that, like be really grateful if you share like any resources that were like really nice and clear and concise about like explaining how you might use it. um or like, yeah, like would MDN document, like would MDN have a pretty good, like would you recommend MDN for if I want to go and learn like maps and sets? um mm, okay. That's great to know, Ian. Ian said it didn't take long for me to switch from D3.nest, which I've also used quite often in the past, D3 nest with using objects as dictionaries to using maps and D3 group. Um, yeah, you know what? That's probably true. One of the front end masters workshops probably cover this really well. I just wouldn't really know which one. Oh, look, there's actually a lot of TypeScript. Hmm, actually, the full stack one is probably really good. This one probably would have a good one. The JavaScript one. Hmm. There's, ooh, yeah, some of these would probably be really good. I bet you they for sure have a TypeScript course too. So I keep getting questions about TypeScript. Mm. Ooh, oh, that's great. Okay, I'm gonna go back to, what was I doing? I was trying to put them in the same format as, trying to get it into the same format. Ooh, hello, Gilliam. Welcome to the chat. We started talking about maps and sets because we were talking about how it's something I'm aware of, but don't know how to use. So then, everybody was helping me with basically the benefits of maps and sets. And then I was asking about like if there's any good like resources, like a pretty clear and concise, quick resource to like understand how to use them. And that was the conversation. All right, and then I had copied this over. So what I want to do is something very similar to this. So this was me formatting things for, actually, can I just use this? Ooh. So Ian just shared something. Says Anjana recommends MDN. The MDN resource. It's so interesting because I feel like I first learned about maps in Java and then got really used to maps and like hash maps in Java. But that was only for like a semester in school. And then I feel like I had to like unlearn all of that for JavaScript because there was like no like map implementation in JavaScript, and it was called an object. And then like it didn't, and then like it was such a weird transition because then like the first thing I learned was like lists and maps in Java, and then when it was JavaScript, like array and objects, and now and then I guess in Java there was like sets too, and then now we like come back, and then there's maps and sets in JavaScript, and so I feel like I like unlearned something, and then now I have to learn it again, which is probably what we all complain about JavaScript a lot for. It's just like so weird. Yep. I can just resurface all this knowledge, except I've like forgotten most of it. It's been like 10 years. And Sash B2B. Hello, welcome to the chat. Says same lol. Ooh. Collection maps and weak maps. Weak maps? What? Interesting. Oh, I love that there's a transcript. Put a full. Cool. Yeah, I agree, Gilliam. Vanilla JavaScript has become much better in recent years. I agree about that. Except, ooh. Ooh. So Ian shared another resource from Anjana, maps and sets. Actually, this does look like quite a good resource. Hello, DT. Welcome to the chat. I hope you've been doing well. So what we're trying to do with maps, we went down kind of a small rabbit hole because I'm working with Ian's data set for, not this one, wait, my tabs are now all over the place. Let's not use this one. Where is, there we go. So this is the, Ian had pulled a lot of demographics data from the US Census API. So here's all of the different columns that he pulled. And then he had put them into a map object. And then we went on this, where is it? Hold on. It is up here. Yeah, so he had put them into map objects. And then we went into this whole discussion about how I don't know how maps and sets work, and I was asking about the benefits of them, and that is now where we are. Yeah. So so it was that we can do array.from and then turn this so Ian says one more. Getify. We don't know JavaScript. Ooh. Cool. Thank you for sharing, Ian. Much studying. Weak maps. I didn't know weak maps was... I've never heard of weak maps. Ah, cool. That's cool to know, DT. Maps are just like objects, but the key can be any type value, not just strings. Interesting. Oh, okay. Slightly different format where it's an array of key value. Oh, you're right. How interesting. Okay, so in that case, that's so interesting. Whoa, okay. So in that case, I should be doing it like this, right? Yeah, okay, so that's good. All right. So, another aside, it's been weird here. Like the change in weather is like whiplash, where like just a few days ago it was really warm and actually hot, and now today it's so cold. So I'm just gonna put this blanket over myself. Don't mind this, it's just really cold. All right, okay. Now that we have that, it's a great lesson. Thank you for teaching me again, chat. All right, so now that we have that, ooh, he says, I hope I remember correctly, weak maps are just like maps, but the values in them can be garbage collected if they are not referenced outside of them, so you don't need to manually remove them. Ooh, oh gosh. Garbage collection as a concept and managing garbage collection really scares me. I'm always like, I always feel like I'm gonna like forget something, and then yeah, like C just really intimidates me. Because I'm always like, oh, what if I forget a pointer somewhere? Yep. All right. What was I trying to do? Okay, so I'm trying to find the other. I feel like there's an easier way to do this. Okay. So what I was trying to do is store for each key. Store okay. Alexis Nostromo says also you can't iterate over a weak map. I actually don't know what Mathematica is like. 9 CHT. So I can't answer that, but maybe somebody else in the chat would know. Actually, I want to ask this again, which is I'm looking for a domain expert in voter participation and voter registration in the US. And I was hoping if there's anybody in the chat that knows anyone that they can refer for this project, I'd be really grateful. It's a paid opportunity. And I have both the tweet and the kind of Google form with much more information right here. So yeah, it's like roughly maybe 4 or 5 hours a week. So hopefully it's not that much of a time commitment, but if anybody knows, anybody that they feel like would be a really good match for this, I'd be really grateful if you kind of like referred them my way. Okay, all right, I'm gonna go silent for a little bit to like think this through and work on this code. Oh, Ian, I already took a look. This is where I took a look. So I took a look at array.from, and you're absolutely right. It is an array of key and value, and that's why here I made it into an array. So good looking out. Thank you so much, Ian. Create property 2014 on number. Oh, because object is a year. Why is or object is a number? Why? Oh, of course. Forgot to pass in a new object. Of course. And also, Ian, sorry, I actually went really fast on that one. That's probably I went really fast, and that's probably how it was pretty easy to miss. Okay, so console log. Oh, so actually, that's how I do it, right? So I get the map, and then I do a get on the FIPS code. So because this would get me, the map, and then the FIPS code. Oh, I have it the other way around. Of course, that's why it's not getting the right thing. So the FIPS code comes first. So the key comes first and then the value, and that's why. Oh no, stop. Please stop console logging everything. I don't need you to do that anymore. No. Stop it. Yeah, Ian, you're right. I had the key and value backwards. No. Stop it. Terminate. Alright. Oh, I have another. Oh, wait, no. This console log is. Yeah, that probably hurts things too. Well, no, that console log I wanted. No, what's happening? Yep. My laptop. My laptop. Alright. No, you should be fine now. Why are you still not responsive? What did I do to you? I wonder if it's ooh, it's coming back. All right. I wonder if it is because of like caching in Chrome. Like sometimes it doesn't get fully updated. Okay, so I'm gonna just do a debugger here. Please run. Please run. You know what? Sure, let's just go on. So now that I have the countings by year, I'm gonna go through each key. Actually, let me take a look at demographics data. So, ooh, it has name. So I don't think I need name, state, or county. So let me take that out. Yeah, I think I'll take those out. All right, so if the key is one of those, so I think I have it in the Eve's data, so for now I don't want it. I can put it back in later if I do need it, but if it's one of those, then just return the object, and then in the object just have the fifths code, and then for the rest of the keys, let's go through. So I think I can do it this way. Object key is equal to reduce. So many reduces. Counties. Oh wait, no. Years. Eve's years. Did I need to do it this way? Actually, I don't think I needed to do it this way. Oh well. I'm committed. So, actually, Eve's year says the year is equal to get, oh my god, this is going to start confusing me. Counties by year, get that year, and then get the key. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah? Yeah, I think so. Alright, let's see what happens. Name of undefined. Wait, why are you trying to rename of undefined? Oh. But also, why are you trying to read anything of undefined? Console.log counties. Oh wait, county by year. Yeah, county by year. Oh no. Okay. So that's the object. Oh, because of the... Alright, I feel like I did it in such a silly way. Alright. So my goal is to basically grab the key. I feel like I did it in such a stupid way. Alright, oh well. Sticking to it. Yay! Ooh, yay! I think. There we go. Alright, so that's what I wanted. And now, the last thing I need is to put the label in there. So put the nice label in there. let's stop with the console logging, and to get the nice label in there, all I need is to pass the key into thanks DT for the encouragement. Stupid plans for the win. Yeah, I feel like there's like such a, I don't know, I feel like there's, ooh, this is such a, um this is a great like podcast topic of like all of the ingrained um like unproductive things that get ingrained in you as a software engineer. And I feel like I take like a stupid amount of like unnecessary amount of pride in terms of like or and stubbornness in terms of being like, I must do this in the most beautiful, eloquent, smart, intelligent way possible. This code must be beautiful, and like I'm stupid if I can't get it that way. Um, which I feel like is definitely a bad habit that's gotten ingrained in me when I was doing full time as a software engineer. And I'm like, or maybe it's just me. I don't know. I don't know if this is a common experience or not. And I'm like slowly trying to unlearn that, especially when I'm like coding in public. Like, there's a part of me that's like, oh, don't judge me for like, I don't know, not writing the most efficient code. And I feel like I qualify myself way too often, being like, oh, this is not the smartest way to do it, or anything like that. Um, just to be like, look, I know that I'm not doing it the right way. But I feel like it's so unnecessary, and I feel like I just need to get better at being like, yep, like this is how I'm gonna go about it. It's not even the most efficient thing. And I mean, like, there's a good reason why sometimes you want it to be like, because like if you're working full time in a company, like you probably want to be like writing good. Well, okay. I feel like there's two schools of thought of like you want to be writing like good, clear code that other people can understand, especially like if you're working in a team, and you want it to be like relatively sustainable, because you're working in a team. And then there's also the thought of like just hack it, because it's gonna get chucked out in like half a year anyways. So it's both interesting schools of thought. Um, Stupak says, like writing tests, am I right? DT says, yeah, the problem with smart code is real. And then you come back 10 minutes later and have no idea what you even have written. I try to like leave myself comments. Well, actually, I write comments before I write code because then it helps me like remember what I'm trying to do. But definitely even after writing comments, sometimes I'm like, what was I doing? And I try my best to like write descriptive variable names, but even then I'm like, why did I do it this way? Ooh, hello Anna, thanks for joining today too. Sash to B2B. Oh, Alexis Nashon, thank you. Says not just you. Sash to B2B says I get satisfaction when my code is pretty and clean like that, and can't get rid. I like that and can't get rid of it. Yeah, I agree. I really love it when I write good code, and I think that's fine. I think that's productive. Like when you're like taking pride in your work. I think what I've recognized as a bad habit of mine is like putting myself down when it's not that. Like when I'm like, I don't feel like this is good code, and I feel like I'm gonna get judged for like not writing good code. And that's something that I think I hold onto too deeply. And I do know that part of it is just like being a woman in software, like of because like it's just such a common thing for us to get doubted for our abilities. So then I get super self-conscious when I'm like, oh no, I just like get really self-conscious being like, oh no, I can do better than this. But then it really like, I don't know. I think it's not something that I should like spend so much of my time like one putting myself down for, and to like care so much about other people's opinion, and that's something that I'm working on. DT says, I think it needs to be readable if others, also sometimes yourself, need to look at it again later. I totally agree. But I think the things that I nitpick on is like, oh, there's like a more, if like, I'm not nitpicking on like, can I read this later? It's like, I'm nitpicking on like, oh, like there's a more beautiful way to write this, or like a more efficient way to write this or something. And I think that's like what I'm trying to work on, of being like, nope, like, especially with the kind of work I do now, where like it's not like, especially when it's this kind of like data exploration and it's not going into any sort of like production, like it's not production code, so it doesn't even matter if it's like efficient or not that much. Like it's not something that I need to obsess over so much. But yeah, I do really I like comment driven development really helps me. Like that's how I like doing. I like working. I love that. Data Ninjafy says all code that works is great code. Yeah, I need to get better at thinking that way. Ooh, Stupak has a great question. Have you started to build your own library for functions that you repeat in each project? No. And I keep thinking that I should, but then like every project I do is like just slight bit different from a previous one, that like sometimes I'll copy over like one little bit of code from a previous project, but like I feel like I don't copy them over often enough for me to be like, oh, this should be extrapolated into my own like personal library or something. And I think that's just because I enjoy working on projects that are like different from each other. And like I think for visualizations, I tend to do a lot of things from scratch, and like none of the visualizations ever look that similar to each other, that I'm like, I should make my own library for this. But I keep thinking to myself, because I feel like I do waste time sometimes like just like setting things up. So DT says yes, it's called Lodash. Ed asks, what is comment-driven development? Yeah, so comment-driven development is like when you, instead of just diving right into the code for something, or like just diving straight into the code, writing the code, you first write out in comments or pseudocode, like what you want to get, like what you want to accomplish with that function or whatever piece of code that you're writing. So like for me, when it takes me like a little bit to think through like what I want my code to do, I'll write the comments first to be like, oh, and this is my version of pseudocode where I'm like, for each country do this, or like for each, like, you know, for like write this array, or like make this object with this keys or something. And that just helps me remember, because sometimes the piece of code might have multiple steps, so then it helps me remember like what I'm trying to do at each step of the code. Spark says I write Python, it's all pseudocode. All right, so now I just really need to remember the label. And for the label, this is great because with the label, all I need to do is Ian had, so I imported Ian's, some of Ian's code, and one of the functions is called nice label, and for that I should only need to pass in a key. Except for that, I guess, what is happening? Why am I getting cannot read properly label of undefined? All right, let's pause on exceptions again and see what's happening. Nice label D. All All right, so let's go back to this. What is my key? That's my key. That should, I feel like that should work. Key, demographics key file. Oh, did I need to? No, I don't need to have that. What? Did I need to? No, I shouldn't have to import that. What are the, uh-oh. No. Come on, laptop, you can do it. Ooh, oh, no wonder that, like, struggled real hard. Wow. Okay. Wait, but then, so B19083. Oh no, there are 27,000 keys. Okay. And it's saying that that key does not exist? Huh. Okay, I apologize for making you open up 27,000 rows. I regret it. I'm sorry, laptop. Oh my god, it's so cold. Why is it so cold today? Okay. Right. I'm not sure. Demographics. So the demographics keys file is being loaded fine. But it's not finding the label. So that's the key. Oops. Is it? B19083. Oh, interesting. It's not even one in here. What is... Oh, what? Actually, I should go and find the census API and make sure that this is a key that exists. But if it does not, that'd be really weird. It indeed does not. Where is this key coming from? Because I don't think any of them have an ending of M-O-O. Oh no! Alright. I wonder if it's supposed to be ending with a E? Because all of these end with E, and then there's... I wonder if it's supposed to be this one. 19083-001, and then E. Why is it M? The odd thing is, so if I do this, it seems like... Oh, so there is an M in here. There's just this one M. I don't know if Ian, you're still in the chat. Wonder... Let's see. Oh, so this, I wonder what this is. But it seems like margin of error for the Gini index. but it's not in the file, and the file is called so there's a file, it seems, called demographics key file. Yeah, it's probably this demographics keys.json. Yeah, it seems like they are all, the ones in the file are all E's, like N's and E's. That probably stands for estimate, probably. Yeah, they all stand for estimate, and then there was an M in there because of the margin of error. Everything else should be fine, but this one throws an error. What should I do? Okay. The problem is that the nice label that I'm importing in from Ian, I don't have access to be able to fix it. So essentially here, I just want to do something like, so you know what? For now, I'm just going to hard code that if the key ends in an M, or it does not end in an E, because that's how it seems to be. The demographics keys that's been loaded, it seems like they all end in E's for estimate. So if it does not end with an E, I'm just going to say like don't report it for now. So that's like a temporary solution. So E does not end in E. Yeah, I could. So how near this? I could add my own file, but I was hoping not to like have to like I wanted to keep it just like one quote unquote source of truth, and then have all of the files just be imported over from Ian's. So yeah, like I didn't want to have to manage my own. Because I think it's better for it to just only be one place where it's managed. And then it's not as important for me to get the margin of error for things. So I think it's okay for me to just say if the key doesn't end in E, then I'm gonna just return. Pretty sure I can do that with Lodash. So yep, perfect. All right, so now that should hopefully, oh, and return an object, yeah. And that should hopefully make things work. 1, 2, 3, Yasa, 1, 2, 3. Hello, welcome to the chat. The question is software engineer ? So I'm guessing the question is whether I'm a software engineer, and yes, I am. I used to my job title used to be software engineer for when I was at a full-time job, but now I'm independent. So I don't really refer to myself as a software engineer anymore, but that's most of my kind of training is in software engineering. Ooh, look at that. Awesome. Okay, so we got that. So that's what we wanted. And then let's go ahead and merge this with all of my other data. So then, yeah. Oh, it's cold. All right. Sex by age. So telling you this suggests what if I import the demographics keys file, but then the thing is that I'm using this function called nice label. And nice label is a function in Ian's notebook, and nice label is the one that depends on the demographics keys file. So I suppose one way would be for me to like rewrite nice label, which is an option, but I think the best option is still for Ian to like fix nice label to account for this error. So then I think it's like I guess if I was at a company working with Ian, then I'd probably like file a bug on this because that's fixing the source. So and then in the meanwhile, just to unblock myself in the stream, I'll just have that temporary solution, and then later on after the stream, I'll message him to be like, hey, found a bug. Cool. Okay, I'm gonna merge all data. Oh no. Cool. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so they've all been put into one big object that I can now use. And this. So actually, I think what I'm going to do is for this particular, so in this notebook, I'm trying to explore the ratio of failed to respond to total removed. And then I write this. Actually, I think what I should do is instead of trying to for each county, so this is me just trying to get only the data I need to do the exploration. Right now I'm like remembering it for each year. Actually, I have this drop down of like which years, of each data set I'm trying to pull. So I should just, I also want demographics year, like which year of the demographics do I want to? So basically for this one, I'm saying like I want to use the 2014 data for eves, the 2012 presidential election data. Demographics data, I'm gonna also, I guess, default to 2014. And then that way, when I'm calculating the keys I want to use, like basically, yeah, so when I'm like getting the relevant keys for me to kind of visualize, and now I don't have to like bother with all these years stuff, and I don't need to do this reduce crap. Okay, so this was for this is, it asks if it's a personal project or for a client. So this is a personal project that I've managed to get sponsorship for. So it is like halfway between. So I have so this is self-motivated, and then I'm partnering up with several different organizations that are sponsoring the effort, which I'm really grateful for. And one of the sponsors is Observable that I'm using to do the data exploration. So this is for eves. And this is for the election. And this is, I want, okay, let's do that in a bit, but okay. Actually, I can probably just do it as so. I'm going to rewrite some of this to use just the year that we selected in the dropdown. So what I want to do is say if A9E for the selected year is not so it needs to be above 0 and needs to be below the total votes removed. So A9E is voters removed because of category failure to respond, and A9A is total number of voters removed. So it needs to fit within that range, and then if it does, then we can go and get the ratio, and the absolute is to make sure that it is above 0, and then if it is, then can record that. And then the elections is, I want the party one, so that is this one, and that then I can do eves here, and then finally I want the margin that the Republicans won by. eves here, here, and here. And unexpected token. Oh, okay. So, yes, that would indeed be an unexpected token. Okay, perfect. So now I have, yeah, perfect. Party undefined. Huh. Is it party undefined for all of them? Party undefined for all of them. Ah, that's because I need to do presidential year instead of Eve's year. Is that what I, yeah, pres year. Oops. Alright, then that should work. Perfect. So now I can do ooh, a search and replace would be so good for observable. I don't think there's a search and replace. Okay, so now I just have to go and update like all of the places where I was using, like where I was relying on. Oh, that looks so much cleaner though. So previously I had like 2012 absolute and 2012 ratio, etc. And then and now I have to account for the fact that I'm not doing that anymore. So let's go and fix all these references. Bluetooth FX. Yeah, so this is the background music is by a really awesome band in Japan called Lullatone, and they have really beautiful calming music. So, yeah, I used to have it in a corner, but I replaced it with the sponsor name. Okay, this is that the only place I use absolute? Ah, there we go. Alright, so some of these should come back now. Yep, some of them came back. Okay, but not everything came back. Because there are, so I want to use party to color by. Ooh, thank you for answering, Anna. Okay, so the color by is good, but the X needs to be, the X is not, okay, so, the sort order is not working. Because I forgot to update the by state. Okay, so here yeah, this will now look much better also. So now I can just do dot ratio. And ooh, Nerdy Curious, thank you so much for hosting my stream. Dot absolute. Actually, now I can just do d dot ratio and d dot absolute. I'm just cleaning these up so that once I bring in the demographic data, it's like much easier to manage. That's why I'm taking some time to clean up my code. Perfect. So now it looks exactly as it used to before. So bear with me a little bit. Do something. Ah, dang it. That would change things because this is supposed to be across all years. So you know what? Let me just comment this out. And comment this one out also because it wasn't that helpful for me anyways to look at the ratio across all years. And then let's do this. So this one will be Republican margin and the ratio and the party. Okay. All right. So now that we got everything back to how it used to look like, let's bring in some of the demographics data that we spent so long getting ready. So I'm going to reshare this and what are some of the things that I'm interested in? Okay, let's start with this index of inequality. Actually, I think I'm quite interested in that one. So let's bring that in. And then let's also bring per capita income in. So let's start with those two. And then I think after that, maybe we can bring in like some of the race data in. Actually, total population would be really good too. So this one is, okay, so Guinea inequality index, and then the second one was all income. And then the third one is total population. Okay. So now let's try and, yeah, let's at least bring inequality index in and see how that looks for the demographic year of undefined. Huh. Okay, so let me reload this. Cannot read property 2014 of undefined. So it should, all right, it's kind of annoying to have to open up all of those. So you know what, let me change around the order that I'm merging all of those, merging each of the data sets, and that way I can like, because the Eve's data set is the longest, and then this way I can have it at the very end so I don't have to like open up so many keys. So I do see it. Okay. So I do see, so I'm looking for 19083. I think I do see 19, oh no, I don't, no, I do see 19083. So it does exist. So it might be, it might just be that some counties just doesn't have, there we go. Some counties, there are about 200 counties where I wasn't able to join all of the data. Or actually, yeah. Ooh, the purple and teal color combo. Do you mean like the coloring for the formatting? Yeah, I agree. And hello, Nerdy Curious. Welcome back. Okay, so inequality. Ooh, so if I remember correctly, the inequality index is that the higher the number, the more unequal it is, and equality and unequal is defined as a smaller percentage of the population having more of the wealth. So that's how inequality is defined. So now what I can do is go down here and then correlations. So I'm going to use, I think something called repeat in being a light. No, let me not use that. Vega light, Vega light, Vega light. Charting with Vega light. Okay, so I want to make a small multiple set of scatter plots with different, oh yeah, perfect. So I want the y to be the same ratio, and yeah, so Nerdy Curious says, interesting, inequality does bring up the point that wealth does play a factor in elections. So yeah, so I think in particular, I want to look at race and income. And so I want to make a small multiple of scatter plots where I compare the percent voters removed versus like each of these demographic attributes. So let's learn how to do repeat. Ooh, yeah. Okay, I think I know. So I just say which encoding I want repeated and then what I want to repeat with. So let's do that. Yeah. Okay, so I think I know how to do this. Actually, let me move this over here so I have a reference while I'm trying to update this one. interesting. It uses columns too. Why? Ooh, look at that! This is exactly what we want. Okay, scatter plot. Alright, let's see how they did it. Ah. Okay, so I just want to repeat. VL.repeat. Okay. So you know what? Let me do this in a separate cell. Field Q is VL.repeat. Ooh. Huh. So actually, let me do this. Oh, there is such a large space. Ah, because of the title being there. Okay. So, very interesting. Also, no clear trend. Just go straight up and down. No clear trend. All right. That's good to know that there's no clear trend. Although I wonder... Okay, so it seems like most of these fall between 0.25 and 0.7 of inequality. So... I wonder why it's... How can I set the scale for the repeated factors? So like if I want to cut it off at 0.3 and like 0.65 so that like this like straight up and down thing like expands. I wonder how I do that in Vega Lite. That's something I'll have to look into later. Like custom scales. Alright, let's try another thing then. So let's do income. So let's put income in here. Actually, you know what? Let me share this with y'all. So that you don't have to buy a big screen for this. And it says, oh, I just noticed that you have the step we're on highlighted in the dataviz process on the top left. Yeah, thanks for noticing that, Anna. Oh, thank you so much, C Missile. So actually, I have to admit, the step, I forgot to update the step. We're technically on the data analysis right now. So, Okay, by county is not, oh. Okay, so let's say this is income, and get the income for the year. Yeah, of course. So now let's go and add in the income and see if anything happens. Now this is over here. Yeah, you know, these are all just like straight up and down. So I feel like I might need a different approach. It's good to know. It's good to know when something does not work out. Let me share this again. Yeah, it's good to know when something does not work out. Ooh, let's just put in the total population and see what happens. Oh no, come back. We can do this laptop. Ah, there we go. All right. Population. Oh, I think I now know why there's the columns. The column, let's make it 2 per column. Apparently that's not how I use it. Oh, columns. So let's put 2 things per column. And that way. Yeah, there we go. Wow, what is this? Oh, that's LA County. Yep, that makes sense. So I feel like for all of these, it'd be like if we can adjust the scale for the x-axis, I think it would help us a lot more. So hello near this says the range and overlays don't express the density of the data as saturation of color floods the results. Yeah, it's kind of hard to see, isn't it? Density of the data, yeah. So, actually, let me try one last thing. So I'm going to bring in, let's bring in the number of, yeah, the population for, like, let's bring in the racial demographics. Let's bring in the black population and see if there's anything that we can see. So bring that in. So this is the last thing I'll try. And then I think my next step is going to be, I love this command, the columns command. Black population. Why is there a negative 100,000? I'm very confused right now. So yeah, so I'm basically repeating what I've already said, but I think it's very important to like be able to see what so to be able to see actually no, this might actually be in the census there might actually be so sometimes if they don't have data available, or like if they want to say like there's no data available for this specific reason, they'll use a negative number. So I wonder if that's what's happening there. But well, that should be 0. That should be 0 there. Like, I don't know why, because this is, if this is, each of them is 100K, then that's 3210. So I don't know why. Yeah, like, I don't know why that says negative 100K. That doesn't sound right. Ah, yeah. Okay, so the negative 9999 and negative 8888. I saw that in the data set. Well, so that's definitely in the Eve's data set. I don't know if it's also in the demographic data set. I need to look into it. But actually, I think this was quite productive in that what it taught me is that I can't look at like everyone, because I think if I look at everyone, then, or not, actually no, I think what it taught me was that if I look at every county, I might want to be able to, I want the option to be able to specify the scale of the x-axis to like be able to like kind of stretch them out more so we can see the like overlap in detail here. But I'm going to shelve this idea for now, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at the outliers. So for this data set, the percent voters removed, I'm going to look at the counties that are outliers like this one or this one. And then I'm basically going to do these scatter plots, but only with those outlier counties. Anna says, is negative 100,000 maybe on the 0, 0 point? Do you mean negative 100,000 maybe on the 0, 0 point? Yeah, right here. But then why would it be labeled negative 100,000 instead of, you mean here? I'm confused. Oh, I think I know what you mean. Like, this is, but then shouldn't this be, so Anna Codes and Hello Near This says the hard left is negative 100K. So this point is negative 100K. Maybe, but yeah, in the right corner maybe. Though I wonder why it's not just, like, I guess it means that some of them do have negative numbers. Very interesting. Actually, I can verify that really quick. So what I can do is say filter. Ooh, I gotta go. By county, and then look at the ones that are less than 0. There's 97 of them. Where it says negative, and the negative 1 might just be that it's missing the information potentially. So let me go ahead. That makes a lot of sense. So that's why it's also negative 100,000, because, yeah, because some of them are just negative 1, and so it's like just like past the 0, and that's why it shows that. So actually, let me go and account for that. So I'm gonna say that I want it to be over 0. I want each of them to be over 0. Okay, so that should fix things. Yeah, I think, Gilliam, that's a great point. That we should. Okay, yeah. So this also looks much better. Gilliam, I think you're right. I'm gonna try that. Where I do the scatter plot, one set of small multiple scatter plots for the quote unquote the normal and non-outliers, and then another set of scatter plots for the outliers. I think that would be a really good way to go. Great suggestion. Okay, so we're a little bit over time, but I want to say thank you so much for joining today. Also, October is going to be just a lot of streams. And I am very grateful for everybody that joins and participates in the chat. Review time. I don't quite have time to do a review time today anymore, but I'm going to see you tomorrow, Wednesday. Tomorrow is Wednesday, and at the exact same time, 10:30 a.m. PST, and we're going to continue this. I'll probably work on it a little bit this afternoon. I'll probably work on it a lot this afternoon because my goal was to get a visualization, like to start on the actual visualization tomorrow. And so I'm hoping to get it to that point by tomorrow morning. We'll see. And then I'll catch you up tomorrow morning on the progress. But I hope I see you tomorrow also. Thank you so much, everyone that tuned in. Bye-bye.